class have become concerned about whether or not we are doing enough for female offenders in Cumbria. This is because it seems that most of the services are focused towards men.
I think coming from like my agency, probation, our policies and procedures are all based on research around male offenders, and I guess women are tagged on to the end of that.
We wanted to hear about the experiences of female offenders in Cumbria and discover whether or not their individual needs and problems were being addressed. Were they receiving enough support or being left to repeat old negative patterns? We wanted to find out what strengths and weaknesses were in local services for women, and so during the last few months we've held a series of meetings to gather this kind of information. If there was somewhere just for women,
it'd be brilliant. Just to meet up, like, you know, once a week maybe, once a fortnight even.
How would that help you?
Just to talk about things, and so I keep a lot of it here and I can't let it out, and when I do let it out I get myself in bother.
3 multi-agency meetings and 3 service user meetings were organised, the outcomes of which proved to be valuable to our research. Here are some of our findings.
I've been involved with the Women Service Users Focus Group, and we've talked about how CAS can maybe change the services and focus on women more, and it was fun and interesting getting everybody's thoughts together.
Well, I've been in Cumbria for less than a year now, so I'm still learning about what services are available to women here. I have come across several extremely good organisations with very committed people working for them. However, I do suspect that the people offering help and support here labour with a hefty workload and presumably operate under funding constraints.
I think I was still in Preston, Lancaster, I'd have armed myself by now, after losing the babbies. But I've got help here. Like I said, the only thing I reckon they should have up here is a women's group. And that'd be great, it really would. Just somewhere for lasses to meet, you know, and talk, and but I'm comfortable here. I like it.
Most of the offending is, in my experience, is shoplifting or drug running and things like that. Things that are done because they're told to, kind of thing. And because women don't have confidence and self-esteem, and they're so vulnerable, they can't break out of that, and you need time. And our services and the services that are available for them, there isn't that time to build up their esteem.
The main reasons are just having an unsettled life. Drugs definitely play a big part, and just no stability, no family, nothing really.
I got in a relationship when I was young, and they're a lot older. But on heroin and all that stuff, then I just followed along basically.
Even because I've only been home since March, so even the help that I've been offered since then, I've never took that on ever before. I'd have never, you know, I'd go out cooking on a Tuesday and down the gym on a Thursday. I wouldn't have thanked you for that 2 years ago. I wouldn't have gone, and I'd have said to my partner, is it okay if I go cook? And well, now I'll get up and go. If I want to do something, I'll go and do it.
I feel is that people need real practical assistance to help them with the various problems they face, be it substance misuse, domestic problems, debt issues, accessing welfare benefits. And I suppose that if they can get practical help at an early stage, then where offending is linked to social and financial pressures, early intervention may help in crime prevention.
I've got an appointment to see Ellen.
All right, just go through to the
Brilliant. In 2007 was a bad year for me because I was heavily drinking and using speed. I did have my own tenancy but lost it because of the people I thought were my friends.
I've worked with Gillian since October 2007. When Gillian came to the project, she was homeless, struggling to address substance misuse, was vulnerable and was taken advantage of by others around her.
These people in time took over my home and my life and took the piss out of me. At this time I also lost my son Joe to foster care and ended up having to give up my tenancy. I was homeless and got moved into the homeless hostel.
Gillian's son was moved into foster care, which had a devastating effect on her.
The hostel encouraged me to go and get help with my drinking because they would no longer let me carry on drinking every day. So I went and asked for help with my problem at Dad, and they started me on a detox. Once I completed my detox, the hostel referred me to SMART and I moved in soon after. When I moved into SMART project in October 2007, I met a funny, outgoing, happy person called Alison, who became my key worker.
Through key worker sessions, Gillian told me about her goals and aspirations. The main focus for Gillian was to maintain her tenancy and be assertive in being able to say no.
I started to come down to the office every day, and with Alison's support I started to like myself again. And Alison learned me how to say no, which is a hard word to say.
Addressing her substance misuse, she has now abstained from substances and has been for 17 months. Parenting classes, Gillian now has weekly contact with her son and is looking to live independently with her son.
I am now at college doing a BTEC Introductory Health and Social Care course, 3 days a week, and don't think I would have done this without Alison. I also go to Curves Gym 3 or 4 times a week and have made lots of new real friends. The best bit of all, I am a mum again, and Joe comes to see me whenever he has problems and I am able to give him advice when he needs it.
I believe Gillian deserves this award as she has accomplished so much in such a short time. She supports others and gives up her free time willingly. Gillian is a joy to work with and an inspiration to me.
I would like to thank Alison for being beside and behind me, so thank you very much.
Well, just like people, well, like yourselves, and what have you to talk to, and just somewhere that feels normal and relaxed and not too official or all, like, you know.
Sometimes just keeping them alive until they're far enough from their bad experiences and able to deal with them safely, you know, not be overwhelmed by the feelings.
Basically helping out filling in forms and stuff which I've found difficult to fill in by myself.
I had like my daughter with me till she was about 8.
Yeah.
Because I was a mess before I had my daughter, and then when I got pregnant, then I like sorted myself out for a bit, and then went back on one when she was like about 8. So my mum like had her for a couple of years, and I just got her back recently.
The counselling side of it, I think, because there's a lot of people been losing their children and they're being adopted out and they're not ever going to see them again, and there doesn't seem to be any kind of structure put in place for those women. One specific service user was kind of told their last visit was going to be such and such a month, and then it got to that next month and they said, well, actually we haven't got an adopted family, you can have another one. And they did that for nearly 9 months, telling the person that that was going to be the last time they would see their children, possibly forever, possibly just till they're old enough and they look for them. It just doesn't seem fair, really. I think they're kind of stigmatised with, well, you're an offender, it's kind of your own fault, and the backup isn't there for them.
I want to meet friends, like, I mean, I have a lass at the moment, and I met her on the web, and she just had lost her babies. So it's absolutely...
So you find that supportive
oh, God,
to have
yeah.
someone else that
going through exactly the same thing.
We gained a lot of inside knowledge when we did the women's group of mixed North and West, women saying what it is they do need. Women kind of enjoy the social contact, I would say, of just being with other people a lot more than men, and being able to tell their story and be listened to and have advice on just general chatting, which is what the women said in that group. Hard to explain, but in West Cumbria it's very kind of insular and everybody knows everybody, and the housing associations are very much, I mean, if you've made a mistake in one, then you're kind of written off by the others straight away. There's a significant lack of private rented accommodation, specifically since local housing allowance has been brought in to pay directly to the tenant, regardless of whether it's men or women. Landlords just aren't wanting to let to anybody who isn't working, really, because they can't guarantee the income.
There's a group of people who have considerable difficulty accessing any housing at all. These are people who don't fit into the legal definition of in priority need. The assistance they get is very limited, and very often they have to fall back on finding a private landlord. Now, if they're out of work, they'll find they're excluded from many private lets because private landlords will more often than not accept people who are claiming benefits. And that this group of people can find themselves very vulnerable.
I think it's difficult because we're a rural area, and that'll always have an impact. But I think we do need a lot more services, especially accommodation. And I think one of the biggest gaps is the fact that we don't have a female hostel. That's specifically just women only. I know we have the family hostel, but I think that's a big gap, and I think that's something that would kick off other services if we could have that provision. You know, it could be a stepping stone to get other agencies involved and signposting and supporting to other interventions, really.
The government's aim for the future is that fewer women will be held in custody, fewer women will be sentenced, and that reoffending will be reduced. In order for this to happen, changes need to be made. We have found that what is needed is a multi-agency approach to address a multitude of their often complex needs. Every organisation needs to look at and break down the barriers that stop these women accessing their services. Also, what all of the women wanted that we spoke to was just a place where they could go to meet other people, to share experiences. This would alleviate feelings of isolation and failure that only leads to patterns repeating themselves and to more offending.